Welcome to Arkham. I'm your host, Ryan, and thank you for tuning in today. So, today we are going to be talking about aliens and exploring if they really are living among us. So, a group of Harvard scientists released this study about aliens potentially living among us. We're also going to be talking about robots, another one of my favorite subjects. Will they be our overlords? How long do we have to enjoy the slave labor of robots before the great robot uprising? And we'll also be discussing how gay people have successfully removed U-turns and took down U-turn signs. Part of me wonders if I should be mad or I should be jealous that they wield such power. So we'll discuss all that today and more on Arcane. All right. So I moved my screens around, so if I don't look the right way, I'm trying to get used to it. But if you thank you for tuning into the show. And if you like my content, subscribe, comment, engage. I want to hear from you. I'm stoked to be here tonight. Got a lot of good stuff we're gonna dive into. Now, if you do not have the Rumble app, why would you not have it? Why would you not be watching this from Rumble and watching it elsewhere? So make sure you download the Rumble app. Once you download it, search for my channel. You can just type in Arkham and it's going to show up. And then follow the channel directly from the app. And this will make sure that you get notifications every time we go live. And then click the link in the description or our pinned live chat to download the Rumble app on your phone. It's free. And if you prefer to watch us on the big screen, it's also available on Apple TV, Android TV, Fire TV, Roku, LG, and Samsung TV. All you need to do is search for Rumble. Rumble is the GOAT. I really like what they're doing. And I will continue to emphasize how great this platform is and the opportunity that they're giving creators. And we're growing here too. Little by little, we are growing steadily. So I've seen some growth on YouTube and some more views on my longer form content, which is great because I'll be real with you guys. Long form content has been a struggle for me, but I think the more I live stream, the better the content is getting, and people are receptive to it. So thank you for your support. I sincerely do appreciate it. And I mean that. I'm not just saying that. I mean it. I appreciate you guys. You're awesome. I love doing this. This is one of my favorite things to do. This is my hobby. So it's a lot of fun. All right. So let's get into this first story. So I want to, I guess, preface this story with kind of just my general thoughts a little bit on aliens. All right. So we've seen a lot of talk about UAPs and a lot of talk about potential aliens and, people describing these otherworldly phenomenons that are happening with, these aerial objects, hence UAP, unidentified. I think aerial phenomenon is what it stands for. And we've seen official government hearings on it, and there's all this chatter. And for a long time, I have held the belief that these UAPs are likely technology from angels. So that's my thought. It's a little different, and probably not many people believe this, but I'm seeing more and more people subscribe to this idea that UAPs are technology from angels, fallen angels, whatever it be, and that's kind of the idea that I hold is UAPs, aliens, all this stuff has to do with fallen angels, demons, etc. That's what makes most sense to me if I'm going to stay biblically consistent. So I do think that this tech is, there's been tech that's been around for a long time. We were just unable to see it. There's actually technology too that, like right now, I don't know if you guys have ever, let me see if I can pull this up real quick. I don't know if you guys have ever seen the video of the cloaking devices that you could just make in your garage. But there are cloaking devices that you could just make out of basic material that you can get at Home Depot. So I just want to show you this so that you see what I'm talking about, because it's pretty cool. I don't think we're going to play this whole clip, but let me get it up here. All right. So that you get the gist of it. All right. Here we go.
Me. My dog can't either.
Where is he? Can you spot him?
There's my dog. There's me. And that is an invisibility shield.
Obi! He has no idea where you are.
This is unusual.
So Obi didn't even see me on that, which is pretty great. It passed the dog test.
Yeah, you were calling him and he didn't know.
No. I'm just gonna skip ahead real here.
While a Canadian-based company called Hyperstealth shared their patent-pending technology.
Look at that. All right. So we have cloaking technology that we could use. And this is like, I would say, like basic stuff. If, let's say there's angelic beings that have been around, since like the dawn of creation, do you think that they don't have access to technology? You think they're naive to it? You think the devil doesn't know about technology? Come on, let's be real. So I imagine they probably have some tech that allows them to hide in plain sight, as we will read in the article that I'm about to open up. So let's just get into this real quick. All right. So aliens may be living among us disguised as humans, Harvard researcher claims. A paper written by research scientists at Harvard University suggests aliens could be living underground or on the moon or even walking among us posing as humans. And we all know this because we've all seen Mark Zuckerberg, so we know they're walking among us. We know that they are posing as humans, We know that Hillary Clinton is wearing a skin suit. That all makes sense to me. That's the least shocking thing, honestly. The paper, which has not been peer-reviewed, looks at newer unconventional theory called crypto-terrestrial hypothesis. The paper was written by researchers with Harvard's Human Flourishing Program, but a note at the top of the report called it speculative thought piece. Okay. And emphasized it's not affiliated with the program at Harvard. We would also like to emphasize that we believe this hypothesis to be in all likelihood false. That's what they want you to believe. But nevertheless, believe it still merits scientific investigation, the paper states. What is crypto-terrestrial hypothesis? I cannot believe I'm actually saying that and not screwing it up. Because I messed up saying biblical before, so. According to the paper, scientific discussions around unidentified aerial phenomenon, UAPs, the official government term for UFOs, has been dominated by two main classifications: human technology, conventional terrestrial origin, or extraterrestrial origin, civilizations arriving from somewhere other than Earth. Researchers have since considered more unorthodox set of theories, the unterrestrial hypothesis, which is this subset of theories, is that crypto-terrestrial hypothesis, which explores the possibility of non-human intelligence living among us, either concealed, underground, underwater, or disguising themselves as human. Now, the underwater thing, actually, I do think that would be like one of the most likely places these things would hide, because that's also a place that we really has largely gone unexplored. So there could be things down there that we just don't know about. Another thing, and there's this YouTube channel called Kingdom in Context. They do great work, and they talk about flying machines and the Nephilim, and they just go into an in-depth breakdown of all things extraterrestrial and from a biblical worldview. So I think that's pretty cool. But they talk about this idea of there being like whole cities in the sky using cloaking technology. So I guess think technically of like the Avengers, that their ship, how it was cloaked in the sky, hidden in plain sight. He suggests that there are things that are like that are in real life that we just can't see. And it sounds crazy, it sounds out there, but I mean, I just showed you the video of a guy making a shield in his yard. You think one, do you think the government doesn't have the ability to make more advanced technology? And two, if there are, if angels are in fact real, and I believe they are, fallen angels, then would they not also possess technologies far superior than anything that we've ever seen? Would they, and could they not essentially do that? So it is not out of the. Ooh, what happened here? Okay, cool. All right, I'm back. Sorry about that. So it is not out of the realm of possibility. So first, it is increasingly apparent that UAPs are not only aerial, but can also move underwater in ways per their airborne counterparts defy explanation. Okay. I'm not going to read all that. The author cites retired Air Force Major David Grush and a retired Navy Rear Admiral Tim Gallaudon, who have argued that there's a lot of strange occurrences underwater, acting in ways that surpass human technology and even challenge scientific understanding of what's possible underwater. Yeah, that's crazy to me. And it's crazy to me too that this does not get the attention that it actually deserves, because this is mind-boggling that you have the scientists at Harvard proposing this idea to begin with, that there are possible otherworldly beings living among us, and we know for a fact that there have been accounts of these unexplainable phenomenons. And I definitely think it's something that I wish more people were interested in, because it is one of those things that just makes you go, what is really going on here? So although this is likely to be regarded skeptically by most scientists, see, I messed that word up, such as the nature of some UAPs, that we argue this possibility should not be summarily dismissed and instead deserve genuine consideration in a spirit of epistemic humility and openness. Wrote the author, who includes 2 Harvard researchers and a biological anthropology professor from the Montana Technical, blah, blah, blah. Just putting some ideas out there in a way to try and break away from this rather binary, it's either aliens or just misidentification. Pope told Fox News Digital they're not claiming to have found any evidence of this, but they're trying to kickstart a debate about this, not just with the public, but inside academia, which has traditionally been very skeptical about this stuff. There's one piece, I don't know if I was able to find it in here. I can't find it. I don't know where it is. Basically, there was one where they talked about the possibility of there being angels. And I think that, honestly, as stated before, is probably the most likely situation, in my opinion. So I do not believe in aliens, again, as is defined by the world. I think aliens are just fallen angels, demons, masquerading as other beings. And I think that's ultimately part of the Great Deception. I think that's part of the Devil's Endgame. I also think another possibility that should be explored is that this is actually very simple technology, and it's holograms. They use holograms to do these aerial phenomenons. That's why they're able to move so fast and move in unpredictable ways and seemingly travel in ways that are defy anything that we understand. Not that difficult to do with holograms. So that is kind of my suspicions with that. Those are the two theories that I have. It's either fallen angels or holograms. And why would they use holograms? I ultimately don't know, to deceive, a psyop, an alien psyop. I ultimately, I don't know what the end game is there, but is definitely something I think should be at least considered plausible. So yeah, I thought that story was cool. I thought it was interesting, and I hope that more people talk about it. No, this is the wrong story. So next story that I want to talk about, before we talk about robots, it'll transition in there, is this story about Elon Musk deploying Starlink to a remote tribe in the Amazon and seeing the fallouts of this technology on that tribe. All right, so this story is from Fudzilla. And Musk's Starlink practically destroyed remote Amazon tribe's culture. Yeah, not really surprising. Who would have thought introducing a phone that gives you, technology that gives you access to all the world's information in the palm of your hands could have negative implications on people? Wow, big mystery there. But evidently it did have some negative implications. All right. So addicted to porn and social networking. Wow. This is this has some serious typos, but not to be surprised by an outlet called Fudzilla. An isolated indigenous tribe in the Amazon has gained high-speed internet access through Elon Musk's Starlink service at the cost of drastically altering their way of life. While the internet has brought significant benefits to the Marubo people, like improved communication and emergency response, it has also introduced challenges such as social media addiction, exposure to inappropriate content, and cultural erosion. The New York Times report said that after only 9 months with Starlink, the Marubo people are already grappling with the same challenges that have racked American households for years. Teenagers glued to their phones, group chats full of gossip, addicted social networks, online strangers, violent video games, scams, misinformations, and minors watching pornography. Modern society has dealt with all these issues over decades as the internet continues its relentless march. In 9 months, this technology started to erode their culture. And it wasn't long before their behavior started to change in a seemingly drastic way. And this too, by the way, if you're a parent that has a teenager, this should be a compelling argument not to give them technology, not to put a phone in the palm of a minor's hand because of what it gives them access to. And it changes them, and then too, we often do think about protecting kids, but also seniors really need to be protected from technology to a degree. They need help. There needs to be a senior mode on phones that helps them avoid getting scammed, because they're usually the primary targets of scams. But it is sad to see how quickly this technology shaped this village. So I want to keep on reading. All right. The Marubo and other indigenous tribes have resisted modernity for generations, are now confronting the internet's potential and peril simultaneously while debating what it means for their identity and culture. One Marubo leader, and Marubo, admitted that the internet was an immediate sensation. It changed the routine so much that it was detrimental. In the village, you don't hunt. If you don't hunt, fish, and plant, you don't eat. So it's affected their culture in such a way that it has actually hindered hindered the very means that they have to provide for themselves. Is that not alarming? Is that not a little bit unsettling that that's how drastically this has changed their society? And it just makes me think like, man, if this is what happened to a remote village, I don't even think no, I know we don't understand what it's done to us. Even as I say this, I don't fully understand what technology has robbed from me. I don't get it yet. I don't understand it. I still think we are learning about the negative implications of this technology. And I'm not saying, obviously, I don't think technology is inherently bad, or I wouldn't be using it. But I do think it does control us to a degree that we are just patently unaware of. We just don't get how significant of an impact it has on us. And we're now learning, how devastating it has been for teenagers. And this was a good litmus test, a good case study to see how damaging it can be to people who have never had it, and very, very quickly fundamentally change the way they live. Leaders realized they needed limits. The internet would be switched on for only 2 hours in the morning, 5 hours in the evening, and all day on Sunday. During those windows, many Marubo are crouched over or reclined in hammocks on their phones. God, that's sad, actually. That's just depressing. That's so depressing. Yeah, no. And I'm somebody that I strive to not be on my phone when I'm home. I'm not saying I'm perfect at this, but I definitely try not to be, because I understand how it affects us. I understand the negative implications, and I don't want to miss moments with my kids. So I try to stay away from it. But it is crazy to think that, like, I wonder what they were doing too before that. They had the Amazon jungle to explore. I imagine it was a lot more adventurous. And now, instead of living their own lives, they're living vicariously through the lives of other people. They spend lots of time on WhatsApp. Their leaders coordinate between villages and alert the authorities to health issues. So that's good in environmental destruction. Marubo teachers share lessons with students in different villages, and everyone is much closer contact with faraway family and friends. So obviously these are some of the positives, and there are things that I think are good, like global positioning systems, if anybody gets kidnapped, you could easily find them. If you get lost in the woods, you can get help. There's definitely benefits. You can contact people in the event of emergency. You can get access to a plethora of information on basically any topic that you want. So you have the full scope of knowledge in the palm of your hand, and that's something that I think that we often take for granted, but it's incredible. And two, with the development of AI, I frequently rail against it. I talk about against it, but the positives are not lost on me. It changed the way that I do some things. I use it largely to edit stuff, and that's been helpful. Punctuation, I don't make it right stuff for me, because I don't like that. I want to. One of those things is that I want to retain as much originality as possible, and use it as a tool and not a substitute, if that makes sense. And I think that's the appropriate way to use it. So it definitely has its merit, and it's going to evolve. All right, I'm gonna finish reading this because there's just some more. To Anoke, the biggest benefit has been emergencies. A venomous snake bite can require swift rescue by helicopters. And as somebody, by the way, who has been bit by a venomous snake, I can tell you this is my deformed finger from a stupid copperhead. This is my introduction to living down south. It is largely beneficial to be able to contact emergency services right away. so you don't die. Now, the copperhead would have killed me, but it definitely sucked. So relaying messages between several villages to reach authorities, the internet has made such calls instantaneous, and it has already saved lives. So that's that's the benefit. And unfortunately, too, though, I do think that's how they get people hooked on technology. And often technology that we don't understand. They sell the benefits. This is for your health. This is for your good, and that's how something that could potentially be dangerous is marketed. It's marketed as being good. It's marketed as being beneficial. It's marketed as being able to save your lives. I think speaking, we were talking earlier about the Great Deception. I think part of the Great Deception, with the Antichrist system, is to introduce technology that's marketed as good. You get the mark of the beast. Well, you can track all your health and vital records. You can buy food at the grocery store. You can do all these great things within it. You can open doors to your hands. I think that is going to be how it is marketed, but I do think it's going to have some pretty negative repercussions, obviously. So I think a lot of nefarious things are often marketed as being something good. All right. In April, 7 months after Starlink's arrival, more than 200 Marubo gathered in the village for meetings, and Inoke brought a projector to show a video about bringing Starlink to villages. As proceedings began, some leaders in the back audience spoke up. The internet should be turned off for the meeting, they said. I don't want people posting in the groups, taking my words out of context. And others said, oh man, fake news is happening already in the Marubo tribe. During the meeting, teenagers swiped through Kwai, a Chinese-owned social network. Young boys watched videos of Brazilian soccer star Neymar Jr. and two 15-year-old girls said they chatted with strangers on Instagram. Well, that's negative. That could definitely be negative. One said she dreams of traveling the world, while others want to be a dentist in Sao Paulo. The new window to the outside world has left many in the tribe feeling torn. The tribe's first woman leader, Tamase Marub, and it looks like they're going to introduce feminism, which is, all right, it's negative. It's not even a positive anymore. Said some young people maintain our traditions. Others just want to spend the whole afternoon on their phones. The internal debate within the tribe about the internet's benefits and drawbacks adds layers of complexity to the story. Yeah. And it certainly does. Because, well, you know what? Pandora's box, unfortunately for them, has already been opened. It's too late. They're not putting it back. The internet is there and it's not going anywhere. And unfortunately, they're going to learn the hard way, the negative consequences of it, just like we will, by the way. We'll learn the hard way. And hopefully they have enough wisdom to, it sounds like they have enough wisdom to limit it early on, which is smart, and not give unfettered access. A lot of people here in America still don't understand that concept. They think we should be on the internet 24/7, all the time. I think no, probably do shut your Wi-Fi off, certain days, and unplug yourself from it and touch grass. Quite literally, go outside and touch grass. Last week, you want to know what I did? 2 days, both Saturday and Sunday, we woke up really early and we went to the beach, and it was beautiful. We looked for shells. We looked for shark teeth unsuccessfully. Sunday morning, we woke up early enough to watch the sunrise. So me, my wife, my 2 girls, and it was amazing. And it's something that technology can never fully replicate. An experience with my family devoid of technology, and just appreciating the beauty of the world that God has given us. It should not be underestimated. It should not be taken for granted. And it's something that we need to do more of. Put your phone away, go out, touch grass, interact in the world, explore the world. You know what I was thinking too, as I was collecting these shells with my daughter and looking for shark teeth? I'm like, God gave us so much to do in the world. you know? And I felt like the world is designed in a way to I guess speak to that childlike innocence in us and this desire to kind of find things and seek things out. And God made it fun, you know, like we were looking through shells and it was just fun, you know. We found one giant shell and it had a hermit crab in it. And it was so exciting, you know, to see my daughter get excited about it. And those are just some of the beautiful things that God has given us in the world. And there's all these insects and birds and creatures and fish and the world is full of beauty. But we won't see it if we spend all of our time living vicariously through other people's lives or looking at it simply through a screen. No, get out in the real world, interact with the real world, and experience the full beauty of what God has given us. So, yeah, so Elon Musk introduced Starlink and does not look like it's going well, in my opinion. But he's also going to introduce this. So this is from the Krassenstein Bros. He says people don't realize how close we are to having humanoid robots in almost every work and every home place. Yeah, he's right. This is happening. I spoke about this before. I may have even shared this video before, but it warrants sharing it again. Dude, that's nuts. That's wild. And it even had the fine motor skills to pick up an egg. So as these things advance, it's going to be like iRobot. I am telling you now, it's not going to be any different. It's going to be exactly identical to the robots that we saw in iRobot. That's how sophisticated and advanced they are. I know this because of the way that AI is developing. So they just merge the two, boom, the technologies are already there, and that's it. We are living now in the future of iRobot. We're here. We are approaching Jetsons level future. That's where we're at right now. Which, part of me, horrified. Part of me also like, this could be fun. This could be cool. This could give me a lot more time. And see, and there's the pitfall. Because there's part of me that is like, yeah, I want one of these things. To come home and not have to do dishes, to have my robot slave taking care of household chores, that sounds fantastic, honestly, in my opinion. Like, to not have to do another dish ever again, amazing. To have a robot be able to go walk my dogs, amazing. To have a robot do my laundry, fold it, iron it, do all the things that I don't want to do, fantastic. That sounds great to me. But then also, you know, I wonder if I'll end up looking like. Give me 1 second. Let me pull this video up. So part of me wonders. I hate ads. Part of me just feels like buying the ad-free version of YouTube. But part of me wonders if this will be, you know, my future.
Have it all morning, so let's hover over to the driving range and hit a few virtual balls in space.
Yeah, we did it yesterday.
This is a horror movie to me now. Not a love story between two robots. It's a horror movie. Because this seems so possible right now.
tired of it.
If you can't fold the straws, the episode isn't any good.
It seems so possible right now because, one, let's just face it, America is fatter than they've ever been. So, and two, with the way that we are letting technology control us, I do think, we could very well be here sooner than expected. And that's concerning. And obviously, if we have AI doing everything for us, all labor intensive jobs for us, including chores, will we become, a lot of people will become more lethargic. I don't think this will happen to me. You want to know why? Because I lift, I work out, I exercise, I take care of my body. All right. So I can get away with having a robot slave doing all my chores for me. I won't be the fat guy in the chair glued, having a screen, glued to my face. I hope not. I hope not, man. It's just really crazy that we are getting to this place. Mind-boggling. And I think, like, part of me is like, well, how long do we have robot slaves until they become sentient and then kill us all? How long do we actually have? Do we get a good 10-year run out of it? How long do we have before we're unemployed and there are no job options available for us anymore because they are all been we've been replaced by robots? How long until people are so depressed because they don't work anymore that they decide the best option is to plug us into the matrix and have us work in digital worlds? Oh, by the way, I gotta show you guys this. Hopefully I can find it, because this is, I'm winging some of this stuff right now because thoughts are just coming to my head, and I want to show you. I want to show you what I'm talking about. All right, I think I found this. Oh yeah, here this is. Okay, here this is.
Ladies and gentlemen, please stay tuned as we attempt to commune.
So there's a game that you can simulate a supermarket. And I saw this and I thought, who the hell would buy this? Who would pay money to simulate themselves working in a supermarket? Who would do that? That sounds crazy to me. The whole idea of video games too is to not have to do work. It's an escape from work. And now you want me to do work in the virtual world? And how authentic is this experience? Am I going to have to interact with customers screaming in my face like the real world? For those of you who have worked in retail, this sounds like a nightmare. This sounds like a nightmare. I've had some pretty unpleasant experiences working in retail. One of my most distinct memories of working in retail is, so I worked at a farm, home, and garden store, and we would sell crickets, and this woman bought a dozen crickets, and she leaves the store. We're getting ready to close, or maybe, we're getting ready to close. She comes back. She has the crickets in her hand, and she's trying to get in. We're about to lock up the gates, and she's demanding a refund for the crickets. And I'm like, sorry, ma'am. We're not able to do this for you. We can't refund the crickets, because they died. And my manager holds them up, and you can see the crickets boiled in the cricket juices because they sat in this lady's hot car all day, and she wants a refund for her crickets. So we refused, and she starts raging out. She throws the bag of dead crickets on the floor and stomps on them, starts screaming at us. So if they're gonna do this retail simulator, then they have to include experiences like that. Maybe then it'll be a little bit compelling. But I just cannot imagine paying money to simulate working in a retail store. God help us. Help us. But this is probably what's going to happen. Honestly, when AIs take our jobs, they're going to create virtual jobs for us. Mark my words, that's going to be a thing. And you want to know what's kind of crazy? Now that I think about it, there's things that you've done if you're a gamer, if you played video games, that feels like work. And you can actually make real life money doing that. So like I used to play World of Warcraft all the time. They had like this, you could sell like gold in World of Warcraft for actual currency, but you'd have to farm it, and farming and killing all these mobs and monsters to get gold or do whatever farming method that was work in a video game. But we did it because we wanted real money. So I imagine they'll probably do something like that in these digital prisons that they build for us, and it's unnerving. It's unnerving to say the least. So yeah, we are getting there faster and faster and faster, and I am terrified and excited, and I do think the robot uprising will end up destroying us all. I do. But I think like we might as well make the best of it for a little bit until that happens, because I just think it's inevitable at this point, just the way things are going. And hopefully you treat your robot slave nicely and kindly, and that they spare you. They spare your life, and they don't make you a human slave. A show that I've mentioned before that I do recommend watching is Westworld, particularly season 5. The first season is like pretty degenerate, to be honest with you, but the other seasons are not. So I recommend watching Westworld season 5, because it'll kind of give you a good idea of where I do think that we're ultimately going to go with technology. And it's a little unsettling. All right, I think we'll do. Should I do one more story? Yeah, I got time. We're good. But before I do that, let's talk about coffee. All right. So it is time to say goodbye to Starbucks. They're woke and gay anyway. You don't want to support Starbucks. Come on. You want to go there and be bombarded by BLM flags and pride flags? No, get real, all right? And say hello to Rumble's 1775 coffee. Unlike other brands, this is a coffee that backs free speech and is unapologetic about it. Visit 1775 Coffee and use promo code Studio40 to get 40% off any coffee subscription. The coffee comes in medium and dark roast. It also comes in tea berry, which is similar to Kona coffee. In other words, this stuff is premium, which I will be buying some of this today, actually. Probably, I will be buying some of this, and I will be using my boy Taylor Dude's link to do so. But yeah, I think this is great. I support companies selling coffees, and any avenue that I can help support Rumble, I'm going to do it. So I highly encourage you guys to as well. Now to get into our last couple of stories, and then we're going to start to wrap things up. All right. So this is from Libs of TikTok. So the Pride crosswalk just went up in Huntington, West Virginia. If you dare drive or scooter on this public road and leave marks, you can be arrested and face felony charges. How dare you guys have the audacity to drive scooters on the pavement. You are not allowed to drive on the sacred colors of the LGBTQ cult. You are not allowed to do it, or you will face felony charges. Crazy. And this should clue you guys in on the true nature of the LGBTQ+. This is a religion. I'd say religion. It's a cult. Because religions have some merit. Cults don't have any merit. And these are blasphemy laws. And you are not allowed to violate their sacred symbols, their sacred flags, their sacred colors, or you will face the consequences. You will. And fortunately, though, we live in America. And breaking. Barely 3 days after being installed, tire marks were left on the Pride crosswalk and Pride mural that was painted in the middle of the road in Huntington, West Virginia. The police say they are investigating and working with Huntington Pride to repair it. Let's watch this. God bless America. That is the American spirit at work. Oh, you're going to charge me with a felony? Hold my beer. And he burns out on this crosswalk. Which, I mean, it could have possibly been a mistake. You know, he didn't mean to, and he just got stuck there. You know, that's what I will choose to believe. But the Daily Wire does go into a little bit more. So this is an opinion piece by Ben Shapiro, and it reads: there's religious adherence to the Pride flag during Pride Month, that most holy month. It is their holy month. In Spokane, Washington, they decided to paint a crosswalk. Oh, wait, this is a separate story. With the Pride Progress flag. You might think that there would be a problem painting a crosswalk with Pride Progress flags because people walk and drive over it. It is a crosswalk. It turns out there's a group of 3 teenagers who were on Lime electric scooters doing wheelies on the Pride Progress flag and then got caught on tape doing that. Let's watch these base little teenagers. That's awesome. That reminds me of well, hold on. I'll talk about that in a second. I gotta log in. I'm not gonna log in. I have an account. I just don't feel like logging in. They were arrested and charged with first-degree malicious mischief. They could go to jail because they did wheelies on the Pride Progress flag. I love teenagers because this is something, I'm going to be real, I totally would have done this as a teenager, and I may or may not be obliged to do it as an adult. But this reminds me of that young kid that we played the video of the other day who ended up taking the pride flag, from an LGBT person, just stomping it on the ground. Yeah, that's the right attitude, because people are just fed up with it. They don't want anything to do with it anymore. They are tired of it. They are tired of this nonsense being shoved down our throat. They are tired of acquiescing to the LGBT cult, and they're not having it. And they continue to do insane and unhinged things, which, speaking of insane and unhinged things, I want to play this last video for you. And this is from End Wokeness. It reads, breaking: LA City Council members have removed the no U-turn traffic signs in a gay neighborhood. They say the signs were homophobic. No, this is not satire. Are you sure? Is he sure this isn't satire? We'll see.
LA City Council members Hugo Soto Martinez and Nithya Raman were on hand today to help remove the signs. They say the no cruising and no U-turn signs were put up in the 1990s to prevent people in the gay community from meeting up with other gay people.
I was also surprised that these these U-turn signs were still up. And at first, they seem a little, oh, okay, it's just a no U-turn sign. But when you learn the history of it and you realize that these were used to profile gay people, it's so important that we have these removed.
The LA City Council members say the signs.
All right. So I want to be mad at this. But at the same time, I got to respect it. I got to respect not thinking of it first. So it's like, if you're a part of the LGBTQ, like, there could be anything that bothers you. Because I hate U-turn and not being able to do U-turns. I get the safety precautions for it, but it's annoying sometimes. Sometimes you need to do a U-turn. Instead of driving three miles to get off an exit, to get back onto the highway, to go the way that you need to go, it would be so much easier to do a U-turn. So is that all I have to do to change laws that I don't like? Is just make up like some story about how it oppressed me in the past? Is that what it takes to change things? So anything I don't like, I could just. Well, this was traditionally used to oppress my Peruvian ancestors, and that's why we can no longer do said thing. That annoys me. And right now, anything that annoys me is escaping me. Gay rainbows on crosswalks, actually terribly offensive to my Peruvian ancestors. So we need to get rid of those. It's a sign of oppression, and it's something that needs to go. So that wouldn't work for me though, because I'm not a homo. And unfortunately, everybody bends to the whims of these LGBTQ plus people, and they have the power to do anything that they want by just claiming that in some way it oppressed them in the past. Psychotic behavior that people went along with this. But really, too, I'm sure this has nothing to do with that it being a reminder of oppression. These people are just probably like, I hate having to drive 3 miles. It'd be funny if we pretended that this is a sign of oppression. Yeah, let's see if we could do it. And they pulled it off. So kudos to them. And shame on these people that are too stupid to see that they got conned. Because that's exactly what happened. All right. I think that is it today. Thank you guys for tuning in. I appreciate you. I enjoyed this stream. And we'll be back on Tuesday at 8 o'clock. So we stream Tuesday through Friday at 8 p.m. Typically go about an hour. I'm going to attempt to add in some alternative streams to this, doing some gameplay and some other things. So I'm looking forward to that. If you like my content, please like, subscribe, follow, do all of those things. That helps me grow. And I hope you have a blessed night and a happy Sabbath. Deuces.